Sport on 4 with Stepstone Online Recruitment.
Welcome to GT on 4 from Snetterton for the 10th round of the Privilege Insurance British GT Championship. Now, the last time we were here, the mighty GT1 Porsche caught fire in practice, meaning it was a Lister victory in both classes. And a Lister victory today could result in the GT Championship being tied up for 2000. But we're going to start the show by taking a look back at round 9 from Silverstone with Martin Haven.
The field at Silverstone saw one or two driver changes. Joining Dave Clark in the Brookspeed Viper was Mike Wilds. Andy Purvis made a move on the TVR Speed 12 at Bridge, but both cars spun after touching, and the TVR picked up a puncture. The GTO TVR was leading until a massive engine failure at Abbey, so Lister and Reimer won the class in their Porsche. The Power Viper lost ground with this second in 4 stops to remove a pit stop indicator from the door, and Callum Lockie's title chances took a knock when teammate Koreuser clipped a slower Marcus. He punctured a tyre, dropping the pair to 6th. Meanwhile, Jamie Campbell-Walter and Dave Warnock took another win for Lister, the 6th of the season for Warnock, and it means he now leads Callum Lockie by 19 points with 3 races to go, ahead of the Lotus pairing. Mark Sumter is the GTO champion, with Jeff Lister now up to 3rd ahead of Fuller and Fothergill.
So just 3 races remaining and 45 points up for grabs. Dave Warnock leads by just 19 points. It's not decisive, but it is a huge margin for Callum Lockie to catch up. In fact, Callum needs to be looking over his shoulder at the Lotus pair, who are just 8 points behind. So what can we expect for the rest of the season?
I think, to be honest, unless the Lister has a failure, we're in a very difficult situation for the championship win. But I think, you know, we ought to be on for second.
A non-finish from us and a win from them, and suddenly we're 4 points apart again. So I think there's nothing guaranteed with this. We have to finish. It's a long race. We have to finish the race. We have to make sure we stay ahead of them.
We had some reliability at the start of the season that was a bit of a problem. We had a gearbox problem in testing time. We had an engine failure at Croft, which we think cost us a win. But Callum's been scoring a lot actually, so he could probably do a little bit less reliability.
Now there's a parallel to the GT race in the GTOs. Mark Sumter has been crowned champion, but these 2 PK Porsche cars are still scrabbling for the places behind his Paragon car. Now this proved fallible at Silverstone, so what's going to happen here at Snetterton? Martin's got the details.
Well, Jeff Lister had the upper hand in that battle, but he was beaten for pole by the Certec Porsche, driven by Marcus Simmons and Steve Watson. The second PK Porsche suffered the indignity of this harmless spin. They ended up back in 6th. A spin as well for the Ferrari F360, being developed by Marco Attard and Neil Woodford. In the GT class, the Lister qualified a comforting 2nd faster than the Marcus. Richard Dean recruited to partner Dave Warnock.
The priority wasn't pole position today. It'd have been nice, but you know, the aim here this weekend is to add some more points to his tally for the championship.
With the Lotus back in 6th behind the TVR and Callum Lockie's Mantara in 4th behind the Marcus of Andy Purvis and Thomas Erdos, it meant that Tim Harvey had put the Par Motorsport Viper on pole for the first time since round 1.
I'm really enjoying the Viper. It's a big, hairy car, spits flames out, 600 horsepower. It's a real racing car, there's no question about that. But we've done a lot of testing, and the team have worked incredibly hard, and it's great to have a Viper up there.
So the Viper starts from pole with the Lister alongside, and all Marcus row 2 means that Lockie lines up right behind championship rival Warnock. And in GTO, Stephen Watson and Adam Simmons head a trio of Porsches ahead of the 2nd Power Viper and the Speed 6 TVR.
It's a rolling start for this 60-minute race, which means the cars should be crossing the line side by side. but passing through the narrow chicane can make that difficult to achieve. Let's go join Martin Haven for the race.
Well, the pole-sitting Viper has done a good job there in 2x2 formation, very neat. That's Stephen Day starting the Silver Viper. Dave Warnock alongside in the black and white Lister Storm. Right behind him, Callum Lockie on his back bumper as they unleash the power. Away they go. The green lights are on. Lockie trying to stay with the Lister, but ahead of him has gone Andy Purvis in the yellow Marcus. Dave Warnock takes the lead. Purvis will slot into second. Stephen Day third, and we ride with Marcus Fothergill between the TVR on our left and the GTO Viper on our right. He got sandwiched and missed a gear into the second corner. This is Sia. There is Warnock, then Purvis. The Viper in third place. And here is the GTO class. The Viper is in fifth there behind the TVR and the three class leading Porsches. Well, out front, it's the Lister Storm, but for how long? Andy Purvis looking to make a move down the S's the first time. Doesn't get it done. Stephen Day and Ian McKellar Jr., the blue TVR Speed 12, all bunched together. Then Callum Lockie making sure he doesn't lose the race at the first corner. Drops a place away from the start, but survives the first few turns, and that's vital for his championship chances. Ahead of the Lotus and two GT2 Porsches now. And here comes the Viper. Down the inside of Andy Purvis is Stephen Day. Doesn't make it through. No contact there either. Callum Lockie back in touch with the Speed 12. And we ride with Andy Purvis. This is second place. He's looking for the lead. Goes to the inside as Dave Warnock assumes the racing line. And Purvis will take over in front. Dave Warnock in second place. Fights back on the exit to the corner. He had the ideal racing line. Purvis went in too deep to hold his speed. Oh! And he's off! Purvis has hit the leader. They're both off. Around goes the Speed 12. The Viper will now lead with Dave Warnock. Well, what damage has been done to the Lister Storm? He's kept the engine running. He's trying to set off again. It's got all its wheels, but the back end is a mess, and that will destroy his rear end downforce. And look at that. I doubt the Marcus will see another lap, even if it makes it to the pits. Looks like his front-mounted radiators are shattered. That may well have been steam spraying all over the place. Hopefully so, because it's less slippery than oil when a car loses water on the track, and everybody has to follow him through. So the Viper leads, Callum Lockie second from the Lotus, then Ian McKellar Jr. chasing Mike Yule's GT2 Porsche. This is for fourth place now. Yule's has him under braking. The Speed 12 TVR has got phenomenal horsepower, but it's not quite able to outbrake there. Riding with Marcus Fothergill, and he's pushing the Viper around. They're all going off everywhere. The second of the PK Porsches pushes the Viper round. That was a battle for fifth in GTO. As we ride with Dave Warnock, into the pits goes Andy Purvis. Warnock firing the car along the pit straight as we take a look again from Andy Purvis's cab. Oh, don't want to see that too many times. Goodness me. Purvis trying to make a move on Warnock and caught out by the Lister. Well, they're examining the front end of that car, but I think it will be in vain. It lost so much steam coming down the straight. Now here's the battle for the lead of GTO. Adam Simmons ahead as we ride with bike ace Terry Reimer. Simmons on the brakes, so is Reimer. And look at the way the Porsche is weaving, trying desperately to keep it under control. And contact again between them. Adam Simmons off on the inside. Terry Reimer takes the lead of the GTO class, while Simmons was way out there on the ragged edge of adhesion under braking. Somehow Terry Reimer kept it neater, and they're showing the damage flag to the #1 car. That's the Lister Storm of Dave Warnock, saying, we are aware of damage to your car. You may not be aware of it. I'm sure Warnock is well aware that he's been thumped heavily up the backside and what that means to a frail, lightweight racing car. And so will the man we're watching now, Callum Lockie, in second place as Ian McKellar chases him, but Lockie misses the apex by miles. Will he run out of road on the exit? No, he just holds it together. But that will allow the TVR Speed 12 to make a move. Lockie opened the door at the first turn, and Ian McKellar went through at the second. Now, come on, Callum, you've got to concentrate. Stop giving away vital championship points. Meanwhile, Amanda is with Andy Purvis.
Andy, it looks like you went into the back of the Lister. What happened?
Yeah, absolutely. We were going up to Rich's, and I got the run on Dave, ran wide on the exit because I was carrying a bit more speed than Dave. And then I went to brake for Sears, and the car just wouldn't stop. It was like the accelerator got stuck down. And I ploughed straight into the back of Dave. Dave, I'm really sorry, mate.
Well, Warnock responding to the black and orange flag, and there's a striped red and yellow flag as well, means a slippery service. Dave Warnock's oil is out on the track. Well, disaster for Dave Warnock. What was he saying earlier about needing to finish? The mechanics dive under the back of the car. They'll patch it for him if they can, but can they? Well, Dave Warnock thinks probably not. He's getting out of the car and he'll walk away. His body language says it all, and I bet I know where he's going. Headed up pit road to talk to the Marcus team and Andy Purvis. But he's going the wrong way. There is Purvis. He's already been down to apologise to Richard Dean and the team. Oh dear, I don't think Dave's in the mood for listening. Well, the blood's up, and it's an understandable, if a little sad, incident. Back on the track, Rob Barb in the green TVR Speed 6, passing Terry Reimer. That's for the lead in GTO. Lap 9, the TVR's going well, yet to win this year. Can it stay together here? Well, the Lotus obviously can't. Back in the pits from 4th place, and Ian Astley's climbing out. Another mechanical failure. That's their 4th retirement from 10 starts this year. The TVR leads GTO from Terry Reimer's Porsche. Mark Sumter's Porsche right behind him in 3rd place. TVR team, don't forget, leading at Silverstone last time out comfortably until a massive engine failure. They know all about retirements. They'd celebrate a finish here, never mind a win, although they haven't won a class race all year. The leaders then, the Viper and the TVR, 1st and 2nd. The Viper has yet to win. The TVR wants a winner this season. And the Viper is the first into the pit. Stephen Day will hand over to Tim Harvey as the pit lane window opens for their compulsory pit stops. There is Harvey and the Par Motorsport crew. There is the stricken Lotus. They have to make this a quick one. They must remember to take both those Dayglow patches off the door, which they have done this time. They won't get penalised as at Silverstone. And in comes Callum Lockie, handing over to the fastest Marcus driver in the world. Callum can't get out. They really have to practice that a bit more. In gets Koolruyse, the Dutchman that designs, builds and races these cars so superlatively. And in his hands, as he guns it out of the pit lane, go Callum's chances. Out of the GTO leader gets Rob Barb, in gets Martin Short, out gets Terry Reimer, in will get Jeff Lister to the PK Porsche that is chasing them further up the pit lane. Will we see the TVR Speed 6 go past while the Porsche is stationary? Yes, we do. But there's nothing in it as Jeff Lister lays rubber and heads out back into battle.
Well, the middle part of the race is always a bit chaotic with the pit stops, so it's a good time to take a break. We'll be back in a couple of minutes in GT on 4. Welcome back to GT on 4 for the 10th round of the Privilege Insurance British GT Championship from Snetterton. We're just over halfway through the race, so we'll go back to join Martin Haven.
And we pick up the action with Koolruyse in the Rainbow Markers. He's lying 4th overall in the GT class, but of the 3 cars ahead, only the Viper has stopped. Tim Harvey 25 seconds ahead, holding the gap steady. Koolruyse better watch out for this slower Marcus. Don't want to repeat of Silverstone, where he blew a tyre. 2nd place will be a good result for Lockie with Warnock out of the race. In comes the GTO leader then. This is Mark Sumter handing over to Mike Jordan. Everybody else already stopped ahead of them. Jordan normally does the lion's share of the work, but Sumter doing a full halfway stint this time. The Paragon Porsche team ready to go. No, they're not. What? He's pulled the door off. I don't, but you're supposed to take the patch off, the little Velcro patch, not the whole door. Oh dear, Mike Jordan will not be looking forward to this drive back up through the field. Have they got it pinned back on? Yes, they have. I hope they took the patch off the other side as well. And here's Tim Harvey in 2nd place, chasing the TVR for the race lead. Not the green one right ahead of him, that's the GTO class car. He's chasing the Speed 12, which has just ducked into the pits. Tim was 32 seconds down last lap, and he may just about be able to make a pass here. Here comes the Speed 12, Bobby Verderoe. Oh, but look on the right-hand side of the picture, the door is flapping open. They'll need to come back into the pits to get that sorted while he rejoins. And there is the Speed 6, so it means that the Viper now leads. Tim Harvey leads. Bobby Verderoe is in 2nd place in the Speed 12 TVR. The Speed 6 right out front, and here comes Koolruyse. He's in 3rd place, 24 seconds down on the race leader, but more now as he spins it, trying to go around the outside of the PK Porsche, biting off too much at the chicane at Russell. Away he goes now. Will he get back in front of the Camaro? No, so he's lost 2 places, and the one he was trying to make up, the 3rd place, goes by. And he will have lost plenty of time with that spin. That will cost Callum Lockie potentially. Change in GTO. The yellow Porsche of Jeff Lister now leads. Martin Short in 2nd place. The TVR Well, it was very fast at Silverstone before it blew an engine. They went to Blackpool overnight to get a new engine for the race. Will that let them down? Here's Bobby Verdon-Rowe, and he's in trouble. He's got an engine, but he's not moving forward, and that means transmission trouble. And that's very good news for Tim Harvey and the Viper team. They lead the race, and now less pressure from behind as Bobby Verdon-Rowe cruises down the Revet straight. Car's in neutral, and he's just rolling with whatever momentum he's got. He's going to try and park it well out of the way here, and handily just a short walk back to the pits through the back fence as well. He's sensibly parking it well away. The news comes through to the team. Great disappointment for them, and especially, of course, for Ian McKellar, the first driver of the car. And somebody else going off. This is the bomb hole. That's Martin Byford's yellow markers, Andy Purvis's teammate. That's a bit of a hairy place to leave it. And here is the GTO battle. Martin Short in the green TVR, and ahead of him, Jeff Lister in the yellow Porsche. Sideways out of the chicane, both of them, as they get the power on as quickly as possible for this long front straight. Martin Short right behind the Porsche, poised to make a move, and a mistake there by Jeff Lister. Locks the brakes, he's right on the ragged edge. Short is right with him. He tries to the inside, but it's covered. He'll have to take a run all the way through the corner here. He's around the outside. Fantastic stuff. He loses traction though on the concrete on the exit. Not much. It may be enough to get them side by side into the braking area. And there is the other PK Porsche, the number 44 car of Paul Fuller, with a right rear puncture. Well, that's right ahead of them, and oh, look at that. Somehow Jeff Lister gets his nose back in front of Martin Short at the S's there under braking. But again, look at the aggression that Martin Short is showing, throwing the car through the corners all over the back of that yellow Porsche. He's giving it everything he's got. Slow traffic ahead, and another chance perhaps under braking for Martin Short. Out of Coram they rush, foot to the boards, and Lister has a monster lockup down the inside of the slow car. He stays in front. What a great race these two are showing us. Fantastic action, wheel-to-wheel racing, no quarter given or asked. And here, looking back then, this is Paul Fuller going off with that right rear puncture. Wonder why the front brakes are locked up. Well, everything is when your brake balance goes that badly wrong. There is his teammate, still leading Martin Short. And Short slowing. Short is slower through Coram Curve. No, surely not another problem for the TVR Speed 6. It is. Banging his hand in frustration on the roof as he puts his arm out the window. Martin Short into the pits and out of the race. No, he keeps going. Well, he can't wait for the finish to come. Callum Lockie can, though, because Koreuser, who was 37 seconds behind the Viper, has suddenly caught him right up in the last couple of laps, and Tim Harvey must have a problem of some kind. He was almost keeping Koreuser at bay, losing a second or two a lap, but then lost a huge handful, and look at this. Koreuser in the rainbow-coloured markers right on the tail of Tim Harvey in the silver, black and red Viper. That is first and second, and the difference it might make to Callum Lockie's championship chances can't be overstated. So Koreuser now with the chance of putting Lockie in a real challenging position in the final two races. Tim Harvey very slow out of the chicane. The markers just blast by him. He must have lost a gear. He may even be stuck in one gear. That would make him very slow out of the slow corners, but reasonably quick on the straights. Well, let's hear how Callum Lockie's thinking.
Callum, you must think the gods are smiling on you.
Well, we've had some rough times, and it's great, yeah, it appears so, but the race is not done yet.
Very true indeed. Jeff Lister leads the GTO class from Mike Jordan's Porsche. It looks as though he is going to cruise home to victory, and unless there's a drama in the last lap for Koreuser, it will be victory for him and Callum Lockie as well. A long gap back to the GTO leaders. That's the yellow Porsche. The white Porsche there is the third place car of Neil Cunningham. He's been lapped because there is the second place Viper of Tim Harvey, still hoping to nurse the car to the finish, whatever problem he's got. Doesn't sound like the engine's too healthy either. So for Koreuser then, never say die. The gap seemed impossible, but now he will take the checkered flag. The first man across the line after 60 minutes of racing at Snetterton. 2 races left to go, and everything still possible for Callum Lockie. Koreuser flashes the headlights in celebration. The Viper team applaud a worthy performance by Tim Harvey to take an unfortunate second place that could have been a really easy victory for them. And in the GTO class, it's Jeff Lister and Terry Reimer's second win. Well, a great win for Oyser and Lockie from Harvey and Day. The Porsche in third place, and in GTO it's a Porsche 1, 2, 3. Reimer and Lister from the champions in the Certec car in third place.
Oh, the car is very reliable. It didn't fail for one time this year. We just came back from Japan, first place. Here again, first place. Can't have a better month than this one.
It's a shame for the TVR guys because they've been working really hard as well. So no, it is really because they've been driving great. So it's just it's our day today.
So Warnock's lead is cut to just 4 points with 30 to play for. Royce is now third, ahead of the unlucky Lotus pair, followed by the Viper crew. And in GTO, Jeff Lister and Terry Reimer move ahead of teammates Fuller and Fothergill. It's a clean sweep for Porsche.
So with just 2 races to go, there's still everything to play for in the GT class. Now time to take a look back at the National Saloon race that was held earlier this afternoon.
It's Peugeot's first, third and fifth on the grid, but championship leader Matt Kelly in 8th place in the Nissan Primera, the black and white car in the middle of your picture as they go away. We ride with Matt Kelly. Richard Mines focus ahead, and Matt intent on making up places. He'll have to go around the outside here. Chris Osborne in the Honda goes for the inside of Gareth Burnett out of Coram Curve. Burnett moves over and spins out onto the grass in his Nissan Primera. Well, he goes into the gravel and out of the race at Russell. Dan Eaves into the S's on the limit. Locks up, loses the back end of the Works Peugeot across the grass. Back out onto the track he goes. Not much chance of catching that one. Eaves posts another spectacular retirement. Moan, Massini, Roukonen, 1, 2, 3. The Works Peugeot in third place, the privateer leads but slows. Mechanical problems and the Honda driver is out front. Roukonen second and Matt Kelly will take third place as Roger Moan, the Norwegian, comes into the pits having claimed pole position. It's a disastrous race. Titanic battle, Massini in the Honda, Roukonen in the Peugeot, wheel to wheel through the S's. Being very careful indeed to avoid too much bumping and boring. Into the closing stages, final lap, last corner, do or die for Tony Roukonen, hits Massini, the Italian slides wide and spins, and it's victory for Tony Roukonen. He too takes the lead in the championship with that last minute win, but the stewards judged him partly to blame for the spin, adding 30 seconds to his time, pushing him down to third.
Well, of course, I'm very glad to be reinstated, but then again, I think it was down to a race incident, but can't do anything how they see it, and just happy to be in again and get some points anyway.
So Tony Roukonen takes over from long-time leader Matt Kelly, who retired on lap 15. He and Massini now tied for second, ahead of the other Peugeot driver, Dan Eaves.
So there's still everything to play for in the National Saloon. Now, Mike, it was a shame you weren't racing in the GTs, but what did you think of the race?
Well, what a great spectator race. I feel very sorry for Tim Harvey. He nursed the car very well, Cord drove very well, apart from his spin, but what a great spectator race.
Well, there are still issues to be resolved, but nobody can fail to be excited about the next round that's going to be at Spa, the circuit most drivers reckon to be the best in the world. Find out what happens here in GT on 4.
And there'll be more action on the tarmac next Saturday at the earlier time of 11:30. And a reminder, despite all the rain, Channel 4's horse racing coverage goes ahead live today at 2:40.